Happy New Year to you. Great to see you guys today. We're going to begin a new series next Sunday morning. Today is kind of a one-off. I wanted to bring you one message in the new year before we jump into a new series next weekend. Hey, years ago, I bought my youngest daughter, Cameron, a used car. It looked great, drove great. She loved it. A few months later, the problem started. I took it to a mechanic. Before I took it in, I called him and I said, hey, I got a car I need you to look at. Do you have time? Can you get it fixed for me? And the mechanic asked me, what do you have? I told him the make and model. He said, well, you don't have much. And I was like, okay. Anyway, can you fix it? So I left the car with him. He fixed it, paid the money, picked it up, drove great for a while, and then it broke down again. I fixed it again, paid again, picked it up again, drove great for a while. The cycle repeated itself again and again and again. Eventually, I realized I had put more money into repairing the car than I originally paid for the car. And somewhere along the line, it stopped being about the car. It started to feel personal. Selling it felt like a failure, like quitting, like admitting the mechanic was right. It became a mission to win. I was going to fix everything that was wrong with it. I was going to overcome it. One day, Cameron said to me, Dad, I think we need to get rid of the car. I mean, it's just costing too much to keep fixing it. And of course, I was like, what do you mean get rid of the car after all the money that I've put in this thing? When I finally sold it, it eventually just became so much of a mess. I sold it. When I did, I remember thinking about what the mechanic said to me on the first day I took it in. You don't have much, and it turned out he was right. If I had the opportunity to sit down with you, pour a cup of hot coffee and say, hey, let's talk for a little bit, I guess it would not take long to name something in your life that stopped being life-giving a long time ago, but you've invested too much in it to let it go. And because you have, you keep pouring more into it. Your time, your attention, your energy. And somewhere along the way, you crossed a line, and now you think, well, I can't quit now. I can't let it go now. I can't change direction now. I mean, look at all the time, energy, passion, money, emotion. Look at all the stuff that I've put into this thing. And I guarantee you that's true for many of you. I could probably see it if we could sit down and talk, but it doesn't really matter if I could see it. The question is, can you see it? Can you identify it? Most people, when they approach the new year, have a few goals in mind. If we went around this room and I said, hey, do you have a New Year's resolution, or at least do you have a goal of something you want to accomplish this coming year? You would probably name at least one thing. We have, physical goals, emotional goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, relational goals. Some of those we make public, some of them we keep private. Maybe you want an improved relationship, maybe you want a more successful business, or you want to start a ministry or finish a list of books that you bought a while back and never got to them, a house you want to build, pants you want to fit into. I don't know. You've got some kind of goal in your mind. But here's my question today, and this is where we're going to really kind of jump in, and it's going to get tight, it's going to get personal here today. Have you given much time thinking through what you plan to drop, to get rid of, to stop, to let go, to set down, to finally say, I'm finished with that. I'm done with that. I'm walking away from that. What do you mean, Scott? I'm terrible about collecting stuff, thinking that I'll eventually need it. I'm not as bad as I used to be. As I get older, I'm kind of like, okay, I've kind of learned my lesson. But my garage, my desk, closets, I'm like, well, you never know. I might need this one day. Stick it on the shelf, put it in a drawer. You just have no idea. Have you ever thought about going through your life and taking some inventory about what you need to close, what you need to shut off, what needs to be thrown out? Have you ever thought about the stuff that you've collected over the years, and now the stuff is weighing you down, slowing you up, draining your energy? And I'm not talking about old clothes you can't fit into, or a shirt that you hang on to even though it's out of style and it's only got a few threads keeping it together, and hope that it doesn't tear the next time you might put it on. I'm talking about things much more personal, much more difficult to toss out. I'm talking about habits, hobbies, attitudes, and here's the big one, relationships. A few years ago, I picked up a book by a favorite author of mine, Dr. Henry Cloud, and his book is titled Necessary Endings. The entire idea of this series is kind of birthed from that book because I've used it so much and read it over and again, and I find myself referencing its wisdom again and again, especially when I have something I know I need to let go of, but I'm emotionally attached to it. I put so much energy in it, I put so much time in it, I put so much of myself in it that I just can't seem to find the courage to let it go. So let's begin today with a quote, all right? Here's a great quote. Let's go back. Well, we're back to a song again. All right, there we go. Great is the art of the beginning, but greater is the art of ending. Have you ever thought about ending as an art? What does that mean? It means it takes thinking, processing. It requires skills to identify what to stop doing and then courage to shut some things down. And part of the reason we keep some things moving along, investing in them when they should be abandoned, is because we know how to say yes, but we don't know how to say no. We know how to begin, but not how to end. We know where to locate the gas pedal, we just have a hard time finding the brakes. It's why our closet and garages are full. We keep adding, but not subtracting. It's why we have 4 books going and 3 series that we're trying to finish watching. It's why we have stuff around the house that we intend to fix, and we can't seem to get to it because we start another project before we finish one out. Our culture, and we're immersed in it, loves starting stuff, but we struggle with finishing stuff, and yet each one, starting and stopping, gaining and losing, both are equally important. Ecclesiastes 3:6. This is what we're told. Let's go back to my notes there, Josh. There we go. Okay, anyway. Ecclesiastes 3:6, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away. The ability to seek and lose are essential. Knowing what to keep and what to throw away are both necessary. If you don't give up and throw away some stuff, you will eventually get so bogged down, so heavy laden, so drained, you will have little to no energy, vision, passion, excitement, or will to live. Saying goodbye is as if not more important than saying hello. Philippians 3:13, Paul says, brothers and sisters, I do not consider that I have laid hold of it. What is it? In this verse, he is talking about becoming like Christ. He is talking about growth and maturity and Christ-likeness. He's talking about fulfilling this goal that he has in his life of becoming like Jesus in every single area. And he says, you know what? I haven't achieved my goal. I haven't arrived yet. I'm not there yet. But one thing that I do, I forget what lies behind. And I strain forward to what lies ahead. There are some things ahead God wants you to strive for, but you cannot gain what is ahead until you lose what is behind. And let's be honest, we don't want to let some things go. That's just the reality. We hold on to those things. We refuse to take our hands off. We refuse to move on without it. Why? One main reason, and that is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the unfamiliar. We have become accustomed to this relationship. We become accustomed to this person, this belief, this argument, this system, this habit, this way of living life, and we don't know what it's like on the other side, and we are scared to find out. And as a result, we get stuck. And then as humans, it's notorious, we build systems and structures and habits and excuses and reasons for staying stuck. For instance, let's get very personal. We get into a relationship with someone who is unhealthy. We didn't know they were unhealthy when we began the relationship. But after a few months, after a little while, we start noticing some things, we start seeing some things that are unhealthy, but we grow comfortable with this person. We've been through so much, we've invested so much energy, so much time, we've built memories with them. Deep down, underneath all the stuff on the outside, we know this is not the person we need to be with. But we're scared, We've built, as I said, memories with the person, we've spent time with the person, and we've grown comfortable with the person. And then we start coming up with reasons to keep us stuck. We say things like, well, we're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other. Well, yeah, she's got issues, but I have issues. Well, it's too late now, we're just gonna have to deal with it. We're just going through a tough time. It'll get better once we get through the season. Or if it's not about relationships, well, maybe you say this, I'm just too old now to do much about my job choice. I just gotta accept where I am. Or my parents struggle with their finances too. It's just the way our family is. Nobody, gives us anything. Or I just need to accept my fate. It is what it is. And here's what I know about you. You are about 1 or 2 decisions away from a better and brighter tomorrow. You're just scared to make those decisions. You are afraid to let go of some things. You're afraid to say no. You're afraid to hit the brakes. You're afraid to wrap some stuff up. You are timid, you are nervous, and you keep waiting and debating and hesitating. And this is going to sting, all right? A few of you don't like the quality of your life. You don't like who you're with, you don't like what you're doing, you don't like where you're going, how you think, how you feel, how you act. You see some behaviors, you see some habits, you see some things in your life that you're like, I don't want to be this person. I want to change. I want to become something different. But here's the stinging part. You were pretty much exactly the same as you were in 2025, which is pretty much exactly as you were at the beginning of 2024. And it's because you keep trying to start some new things without stopping some other things. And the stuff you refuse to stop is hindering the stuff you're trying to start. Because in order to move into a better and brighter tomorrow, you're going to have to cut away, break off, say no, move out, turn in your resignation, send the letter, order the classes, sign the papers, and you lack the courage to do what's necessary to end what's required to move forward. Some of you need to experience some breakups, which will trigger a whole new life and open up an entire new world for your family and for those around you. I love quotes. I collect quotes. When I read them, I highlight them, write them down. It's like a quote can take pages of information and insight and wisdom and just put it in a sentence or two. I read this the other day and I wanted to make sure I remembered it. It says, becoming the best version of yourself comes with a lot of goodbyes. Boy, it's tough, isn't it? That's really tough. And that's what we don't want to do. We become attached to the people causing us the most pain, but we cannot find the wherewithal to say goodbye. We get stuck in hurtful situations or destructive habits and toxic relationships and can't see how bad those situations and the relationships have become. And those situations or habits or relationships have got to be ripped. They've got to be torn from our lives, or we're going to remain stuck forever. And we're going to be sitting at the beginning of 2027 feeling exactly like we feel at the beginning of 2026. Which is exactly how we felt in 2025, which is exactly how we felt in 2024. The only difference is we're years older now, and we have less time. Sometimes I want to look at people I know who have great potential. Maybe I've built a relationship with them, or I've just watched them from a distance. And I know that they've got so much going for them. They have so much talent and potential, and all that stuff is under the surface. And I want to look at them in love. And I just want to say the hard truth. I just want to say to them, I want you to listen to me. If you would stop those 2 relationships, you'd be able to fly high. He's not your friend. I know you think he's your friend, but he's not your friend. He is a miserable person who wants everybody else to be miserable too. Hey, she's not who you need right now. I know you think you can't do better, but you can. Cut her loose and watch what happens. Hey, you know what? If you would get out of that job or move away from your parents or quit allowing your adult kids to steal everything you have or get away from that employer, if you would stop spending so much time on Facebook or Instagram confirming you're important and wanting everybody to tell you how important you are, Or if you would quit that series and that series and that series on Netflix and get into a book or go back to school, you could soar and become everything you were designed to become. But you're scared. You don't have the courage to say no. You don't have the courage to stop. And you can't let it go. Some people need to be elevated, they need to be lifted above where they are currently and see everything from a new, higher perspective. If you're a frequent flyer, or if you've ever flown one time, but especially those who spend a lot of time on planes, you know what turbulence is. Plane shaking and dropping, hitting air pockets, changing, all that. It can become somewhat scary if you're not too experienced with that. When a pilot gets into a turbulent area, what does the pilot often do? Rise above. Some of us are stuck in turbulence, and it seems like we were stuck forever. And we haven't learned how to lift ourselves up and get out of the disturbed airflow. And if you remain in turbulence, about the only thing you can think of when you're in severe turbulence is turbulence. It consumes you. That's what you think about. Aren't you tired of shaking and bumping and falling? Doesn't the relational turbulence stress you out enough to do something about it? Some of us are a few endings away from a better life, a few goodbyes away from a brighter life. But too many of us are not prepared to go where we need to go, do what we need to do, address what we need to address, and as a result, we stay stuck in what should be our past. And Paul said we've got to learn how to forget what is behind. There comes a point where you confront your past, you deal with it, you learn from it, and you then forget it, especially your failures. When we can't, we will carry with us those failures, and it will drain us of energy, vitality, hope, passion, and everything making life worth living. And when we fail to end things well, we are destined to repeat the mistakes that keep us from moving on. It's why people go from divorce to divorce, job to job, problem to problem, no closure. They keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. So here's what I want for you. In 2026, I want you to be empowered to choose a few endings in your life, not just starting some new stuff. That's easy. Everybody who's ever borrowed money knows how easy it is to borrow money. It's paying it back that's the problem, right? Everybody starts going to the gym, right? It's the finishing part. We start building a house. It's the finishing part. We start a lot of things. It's the finishing. I want you to stop some things in your life rather than just start some things. How do we do that? All right. If you garden, if you have flowers and vegetables, then you know that pruning is a must. Without pruning, rose bushes and other plants never reach their full potential. And in John 15, this is really interesting, Jesus is teaching about pruning. He is using the art, and it is an art, the art of pruning to teach us something extremely valuable. God uses the same concept in our lives to prune things out so that we can reach the potential He has for us, the purpose He has for us in our lives. Some things in our lives need to go. And Jesus is not only about adding to your life things that are beneficial to help you grow, He's also about removing things that are slowing us down and stopping us from growing. Look at this, John 15, 1-2. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He what? You can say that out loud. He what? Removes. He removes. So Jesus is not only in the business of adding to your life, He's in the business of subtracting things from your life, removing things from your life. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. If it's not producing fruit, it goes away. Every branch that bears fruit, He prunes. So whether you bear fruit or you don't bear fruit, you're going to get cut in some way. You're either going to be cut away or you're going to be trimmed back, because the goal here is to produce as much fruit as possible. You do not fulfill your life's purpose by adding more. You reach it by losing what doesn't belong. This is going to sting also. Your fulfillment is on the other side of the cut. It's on the other side of the cut. It's on the other side of the clipping. It's on the other side of the pruning. The gardener intentionally and purposefully cuts off branches and buds. Now, how does a gardener know what to cut? It's an art. So how does he know? How does she know what to cut and what to leave alone? 3 main categories: what's good but not great. And this is the tough one. We'll take bushes, for instance. Rose bushes and other plants produce more buds than the plant can sustain. It can't bring all of them to full bloom. The gardener trims back the good buds and branches in order to redirect the water to the great buds and branches with the greatest potential to become mature roses. Without pruning, the best roses have no chance to emerge. So without cutting away several good things in your life, the best things in your life have little to no chance to grow. So one of the questions, I'm going to give you some questions in a minute that'll zero in on this, but here's just a general question. What are a few good things in your life, but if removed, would allow life to flow more robustly to the best things in your life? I know that's a tough question to answer, and I'm going to help you in just a moment, but it's a general question to get you thinking. The second category is what's weak and draining life. Some branches are weak and diseased, and they're not going to make it. They're just not going to make it. And leaving those branches connected will do nothing but drain life from stronger and healthier branches. That's reality. You can hope against it all you want to, but it's an inevitable reality. Now, for a while, a gardener might monitor some of the weak branches, fertilize them, nurture the weaker branches, all in an attempt to make them healthy. So you don't go away and just cut everybody out of your life. There are some friendships you can nurture. There's some relationships, there's some financial things, whatever. You can nurture, but there comes a point where you got to go, it's not going to work. This is a weak branch, it's not going to work. At some point, the gardener realizes more water, more fertilizer, more care is not going to help. The most wise, the most caring, the most loving action the gardener can take is to cut those branches loose. Third, what's dead and wasting space. The healthy branches need room to reach the full length and height, but they cannot spread when dead branches force them to bend and turn corners. Pruning enables rose bushes and other plants to realize their full potential. Here's what I know. You and I have these same categories in our lives. Every single person in this room, including myself, we all have at least a portion of all 3 of these. We have some good but not great areas. And I'm going to give you a piece of gold here. Good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. You will hold on to good things, and it will never allow you to go to great things. Everything you're doing can't possibly be brought to excellence. Some things you need to stop doing to redirect energy, time, money, resources. 1 Corinthians 10, I love this wisdom from Paul. All things are permitted. All things are permitted, but not all things are beneficial. All things are permitted, but not all things build up. So what Paul is saying is you're going to have to use wisdom in your life, and that wisdom is going to come from obviously experience and failure and learning and mentorship, but through prayer, through scripture reading, through spiritual growth, through insight, through your eyes being open, your heart being open. You're going to see what is beneficial, what's built, what builds you up. And there are going to be some things you're going to look at and you're going to say, I could do that. And if I do that, it's not wrong. And if I do that, there'll be some people who applaud me. I could do that, but for me, it's not beneficial. I could do that. It's okay if I do that. Some people will think it's a good thing if I do that, but I know the goal that I have in my life. I know what God's doing in me, and I know that thing, whatever it is not going to build me up. So I could, it's a good thing, but it's not a great thing, and I'm going to walk away from that. What is a good area, a habit, a hobby, a behavior, relationship? You know, no matter what you do, how much time, how much attention you get, it's never going to be a great area. And because you are giving time and attention to it and you're stopping it, you can't go into excellence in that area. The second category is weak and draining areas. Some areas of business, some areas of life are weak, they're draining you. Let's get honest, let's get raw for a moment, okay? Be real direct. Some of you, some of us, watching online, here, we can't get financially ahead because your money is being drained away from online gaming. You spend a lot of money in those areas. weekend sports, expensive toys, family members who can't seem to keep a job. And your money is going to so many different areas. Some of you can't strengthen your marriage, and you can't put the energy required to bring the fire and the warmth and the spark back because you flirt with people outside your marriage. There might be a few subscriptions you need to cut out. You might need to get rid of the late night surfing on your phone. You might need to tell him, leave you alone. Don't call again, don't text again. What are you doing? You're getting rid of weak and draining areas. You're dealing with the things that are draining energy away from your marriage, draining energy away from your finances, draining energy away from your relationships, draining energy away from your relationship with God. You are moving from just some good things to great things. And they need to be cut away now. So what are some unhealthy areas in your life? I don't know. You have to deal with that. The third big area is dead and wasting away areas. Some areas of your life are just dead. I mean, they're just dead. Just admit it and let them go. I love this idea. The best action to take when you realize you're on a dead horse is to dismount. Because it doesn't matter what you do, it's never going to gallop, okay? It's dead. Sometimes you just have to go, this isn't working. This is not going to work. It's dead. It's gone. Sometimes, folks, it's okay to quit. It's okay to walk away knowing you tried everything. It's okay to admit it didn't work. It wasn't for you. It's okay to say, I can't do this anymore. Failure isn't walking away from what isn't working. Failure is continuing to invest when it's clear there is no return. I guarantee without pruning, your endeavors will be average at best. You will utterly fail because you'll just stay in that average zone. So the question is, are you heading toward excellence in the areas of your life that matter? Or are you just drifting toward what's good but not great, what's weak and draining, what's dead and wasting away? Pruning involves pain, but you will never be the man or woman you can be without cutting away, stopping, ending, pruning. It's impossible. Now this is big, and we're going to wind this up in a minute. Pruning only makes sense when you know what you're pruning toward. So there's a question every gardener and every person has to ask. What is the purpose I'm pruning toward? You have to know what you want your life to look like before you start pruning. You don't just take a pair of shears, go out and just start hacking away at a rose bush. You've got to know what you're doing. It's an art. You've got to have a picture of what a rose bush is supposed to look like, and you've got to know which areas are good but not great, which areas are weak and draining, and which areas are dead and wasting space. Because pruning without purpose is just damage. So please don't leave here today and go, okay, you're fired, you're out of my life, I'm no one in friendship with you, there's a Dear John letter there, I'm going to fail. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. Scott said, cut everybody out of my life. Okay, please don't do that, okay? That's not what I'm saying. As adults, we've got to understand general principles, ideas you apply. This is about looking at your life, looking at your marriage, looking at your finances, looking at your business, looking at the church. It's what I do all the time. Just look at it and go, what is it supposed to look like? And folks, listen, the only way you're ever going to know what it's supposed to look like is to have your eyes open, your heart open. That's going to come through scripture. It's going to come through prayer. It's going to come through mentorship. It's going to come through reading. It's going to come through learning. It's going to come through asking questions. It's going to come through wisdom. And you're going to shape that image. And you're going to go, okay, that is what it means to follow Christ. That is what it means to love people. That's what it means to have a healthy marriage. That's what it looks like to have a good business. That's what it looks like. And now that you have this image, you can start saying, okay, now that I know what it's supposed to look like, I can see some things that are good but not great, some things that are draining energy, and some things that are dead. You don't just go out and start hacking away. This is a process that you use in your life. When pruning a rose bush, the first step is to say, what does a healthy rose bush look like? Now that I know, I can prune toward that standard. So let's get specific, okay? Very specific, and then we'll be done. 10 questions. I'm not going to spend time teaching through these questions. I'm going to ask you these questions and let you kind of sit with it for about 30 seconds, a minute. We'll move on to the next question. These questions are designed to help zero in on a few things that may be good but not great, that may be weak and draining, that may be dead and taking up space. I thought about just maybe 3 questions, but I thought 3 won't be enough to kind of bring everybody in. So there's 10, and that's why I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one for time's sake. But let's just walk through these, and you got to answer them on your own, okay? First question: what consistently drains me more than it gives? What consistently drains me more than it gives? Number 2, what do I feel relief from when it's canceled or doesn't happen? Like, whew, they canceled. I'm so glad. Man, I didn't want to have to do, hey, smile. I love this. When the reality is you hope they cancel. I know we got responsibilities. We have to do them. Again, don't take an extreme position on this. But it helps you narrow down some things that are draining in your life, weak in your life. What do you feel relief from when it's canceled? Number 3, what do I dread but keep doing out of habit or guilt? You don't want to do it. You dread doing it, but you do it out of habit. You do it out of guilt. It's an area you might want to look at. Number 4, if nothing changed, would I want to be in the same place a year from now? And here's a tough one. Number 5's tough. What do I keep justifying that I know isn't healthy? I know this habit's not healthy. I know this hobby's not healthy. I know this behavior's not healthy. I know this relationship's not healthy. I know this, whatever. I know it's not healthy, but I keep finding reasons to justify doing it. Whatever that thing is killing you slowly. It is draining you. Number 6, what would I stop if I didn't fear disappointing someone? What would I stop if I didn't fear disappointing someone? Number 7's another, I think, tough one too. They're all tough, but some of them are especially. Who do I feel worse about myself after being around? Who do I feel worse about myself after being around? That's a relationship you need to take a serious look at. Number 8, what relationship requires me to betray my values to keep the peace? I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to engage in this. But if I don't, this relationship's going to blow up. It's going to be lack of peace, arguments, fighting. So you have to betray your character, betray your heart, betray your values, betray everything in order to keep peace in that relationship. What are you doing in a relationship that's killing you? What are you doing? Number 9, where have I felt a quiet nudge that I keep ignoring? I feel it, I sense it. There's a tap on my heart, there's a tap on my shoulder. I feel this nudge, but I shake it off, I ignore it. And the last one, aren't you glad we don't have like 25? Last one, what am I praying God would fix that he may be asking me to end? See, sometimes we want God to step in and fix the problems for us. And he's like, you deal with it. I don't want to get into this. We got something else we're going to do, but I'm going to get into this, right? No, not long. The beautiful story of the fish and bread when Jesus multiplies it. I love it, love it, love it. All the people are sitting there, and they come up to Jesus and say, we don't have anything. These people are hungry. Send them away. Send them away. And he says, you give them something to eat. We don't have anything. What do you have? Let's start with what you have. And when you start with what you have, all we got, some bread and fish, he gets involved and miracles happen. What we want to happen is to sit back and go, these people are hungry, send them home. Hey, all go home. Or, Hey, Jesus, all these people are hungry. Do something about it. Presto, all the food's there. There's a point where we get involved and we bring what we have and say, this is all I have. Sometimes you might have to go to God and say, God, I know I want you to fix this. I don't know what to do. Here's what I have. Here's my broken relationship. Here's my messed up business. Here's my trauma that I'm dealing with from my past. Here's this. This is what I have. I don't have much. Here's what I have. I'll do what I can. I'll say no here. I'll break that. I'll put the application in. I'll do this. But I need you to get involved because I can't do what. Now that is when you start partnering with God. So sometimes God will step in and do a miraculous thing. But most of the time when you pray, he's wanting you to step in there. Give him what you have. It's time to prune. It's time to let go. It's time to stop. It's time to end. It's time to walk away. Get a clear picture of what you want your life to look like, feel like, be like. Get a clear picture of health, hope, freedom, and then prune against that standard. Pruning is strategic. It's directional. It's forward thinking. It's toward a vision. Looking back, I didn't lose when I sold that car that I got my daughter. I didn't lose. However, prior to selling it, I lost a lot of time because we had to leave it with the mechanic for 2 weeks at a time, and then we had to figure out how to get my daughter back and forth from here to there. I lost money, more money than I actually bought the car for. I lost the energy trying to keep something alive that didn't have much left. I think the car, by the time we got to the end, was looking at me going, what are you doing? Let me die. Just why do you keep, I lost a lot. Most freeing thing some of us can do this year is to stop fixing what's draining us. God isn't merely wanting to cut what's dead. He wants you to cut what's in the way. What's in the way? What's in the way between here and there? What is that? What is that thing? What is that system? Move it. Last thought, and then we're going to receive communion together before we go. Listen, when you first prune a rose bush, it looks horrible. And you're going to think, I sure hope I didn't kill it. Just give it time and trust the process. It'll come back. And it'll come back stronger, and it'll come back more beautiful. Second thought on that is you don't prune once. You prune again and again and again. Life is a process of always pruning so that you can keep producing the best that you need to have. Let's pray. Father, thank you. Thank you that we can come into a place like this, sit, listen, learn, grow, be challenged, be pushed, worship, sing, love one another. Thank you for this honor and privilege. Father, I pray you take this message and these truths today and push them so deep into our soul that the seeds will take root. And as the truth begins to blossom, it's going to be tough. Truth doesn't always sit well with us. Sometimes it goes down sideways. Sometimes it stings. Sometimes it hurts. But Father, that truth, as it begins to work its way through us, eventually sets us free. Free from ourself, free from lies, free from fear, and we start noticing more courage in our lives, more boldness in our lives, and we're able to walk toward the vision that you've given us in our lives, our family, our kids, our businesses, our homes, our churches, our cities, our communities, on it goes. Father, I pray you give us the courage we need to do what it is that you've called us to do. And we ask all of this in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen. Hey, this is the first Sunday of the month, and we receive communion together. If you are newer to Forest Park,